We think about failure being such a negative and awful thing, but let me tell you, if I hadn't gone through so much failure, I would have never been successful at medical coding. So let me tell you today about how I failed my way into medical coding. Hey everyone, I'm Victoria. I'm a medical coder, auditor, educator, national speaker, blogger, podcaster, and YouTuber. And if you're new to my channel, I am here every week posting videos to help you succeed in a medical coding career. I've had an amazingly successful career as a medical coder. I've gotten multiple credentials. I'm an approved instructor through the AAPC and a recognized fellow through that organization. I published a ton of articles for Healthcare Business Monthly and have spoken at national, regional, and tons of local chapter events through the AAPC and even a little bit at AHIMA. And believe it or not, it was all of my prior failures that led to me being so successful. In high school, I wasn't a good student. I had a lot of things that went on in freshman year that ultimately led to my best friend moving across the country. And that was a hard thing to recuperate from because I really didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't understand the importance of school or studying or classes because it all seemed like it was just going to lead to more school and studying and classes, which was going to lead to a job where I would have to work tons of hours, and all I wanted to do was really hang out and watch anime. It wasn't that I wasn't smart, I guess I just didn't really get it. I didn't really care. It wasn't important to me to get a good job. The other day I actually found an excuse for absence form from 1998, and I'm surprised that I only found one because I was not in class a lot in 1998. So ultimately I failed a lot of classes in high school because I just didn't care. After high school, I went to community college for web design, and I loved web design back then, and I still do, but it's just been a big hobby of mine since I was 13. Like, I liked making things look uniform, like making the styles of page to page look uniform, and I follow that suit even now when I'm making like PowerPoints, like things have to look a certain way. Now, I was a much better student in college than I was in high school because there was a lot more courses, of course, that interested me, and more independence, and I finally started to kind of understand the importance of things. But ultimately, I wound up with depression and had to drop out of college. So I failed again. It wasn't a good year. I broke up with my boyfriend of 6 years and I got fired from my job. Not that I had a prestigious job, I was actually cashiering at Walmart at the customer service desk. And one day I got bored and drew something up in Paint and saved it as the desktop background, and I got fired because they said I was misusing company property and that I hacked into their computer system to change the background image. It was a heck of a year, but I finally got things under control. But after that, I really didn't know what to do with my life, so I took like administrative jobs. I was working for temp agencies doing filing and clerical work. Eventually, I got a job at the call center of a local department store working in what was called Shopper Services, which was their online shopping department. I was an administrator of that department, so I helped with a lot of the refunds for online shopping and just kind of follow-up work for that department. Now, back then, MySpace was really popular, and this was the dawn of social media, so a lot of the lessons learned that we have today maybe didn't exist back then. And I was naive back in my early 20s and thought that I was safe being friends with some of my coworkers and former coworkers at my job. And I thought that because my posts weren't public, they were friends only, that I was protected, and I had said some things about my job that I really shouldn't have said. And one of my former coworkers felt the need to hold a grudge against me and copy and pasted those complaint posts and sent them to an email address that went out to everyone in the entire call center. And then I thought I would be smart and I'd just deny it all to human resources and say, oh, well, you can't prove that they were my posts because they're locked. And yeah, they said they didn't care and they fired me anyway. So there I am, living at home, no boyfriend, no job, been fired twice, and I have no clue what to do with myself. But my mother had mentioned to me a few years prior about medical coding and wanted me to get into medical coding, so I finally decided to take my mother's advice and look into it. I went to my local community college and they admitted me into their medical coding program, and you guys, I will tell you, it was like the light bulb went off. I'm like, here I am, I'm good at this, and everyone was noticing, and I was so excited about it. I was finally really good at something, and I really enjoyed it. Although later the program director confessed to me that because I had dropped out of college prior, that she did not think that I was going to finish the program and that I really surprised her. After that, I was so grateful. I took every opportunity I could. I took an internship and I just worked at it until I proved myself, and they hired me off my internship. And then they offered a program that they said, if you pay for this instructor to give you coding classes and you pass your certification exam, we'll reimburse you. So I went through it and I passed my certification exam, and then I got other certifications. And then I published articles. Not that I was an expert on all things medical coding, but I knew enough about one subject to publish an article on it, and then I kept building from there. And that was the biggest success in my career, was that when opportunity came, even if it was something that everyone else kind of didn't want to do, I offered to help. I went out to practices when we were converting practice management systems and said, hey, yeah, I'll take your old schedules and put them into the new system so that they're loaded in. I offered to cross-train in payment posting or learn new specialties or back up for employees that were out suddenly on a leave. And I did all of those extra things. So when opportunity knocks, even if you've failed 100 times in the past, you have to answer the door to that new opportunity. And when I get asked to speak at a chapter or a seminar or a conference or do a webinar or a class, no one cares about those past failures. Don't ever let those past failures define you, and don't ever let them hold you down. Take it from me, because I have succeeded so much through all of my failure. If I hadn't failed so much, I would have never found my success in medical coding, and I would have never been given all of those great opportunities to succeed. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get alerts when I post more videos. I will see you in the next video, and until then, just keep on coding on.